Well, I'm trying to wrap it up here and get to my point that this control and then submission and surrender, I think, brings a heightened experience, a heightened intensity of experience of the feeling of vulnerability. And when we become completely vulnerable in a situation, there is a release of pent up tensions and anxieties and stresses. It's like a breaking down. It's just like a, a huge crisis that just erupts, and then there's a release from it, a release, a liberation. And I find that emotionally it's a roller coaster, and these emotions and feelings can take us over, and we can become possessed by them. And this goes for a good story. This tells the great romantic tragedies that epics are made of. Or those tremendous tyrannical power usurpers and heroes that seem to possess unhuman, godlike power. And I find it intimately connected to women. They say every man comes from a woman. Every man shall return to a woman, even if it be only the earth and worms that stake the claim, so to say. And by analyzing this and dissecting it and understanding the methodology of it, the form and the function of the feminine, I come to see an image comes to mind of how, for some reason, many of them feel controlled, perhaps by their hormonal being, the ebb and flow. And in compensation, they try to control exterior things. And then, with all the stress and tension that comes with trying to control that which they can't, that which is not their own, they exhaust themselves and then have this complete surrendering, release, and vulnerability that arises from it. And it's a teachable moment for them, I realize. My daughter was trying to come to terms with our relationship when she was graduating high school, and I recognized 3 or 4 phases in her addressing me. First, she tried to intellectualize it, and she was trying to make all these factual statements, factual intellectual statements. Then she just started crying terribly. And I decided, at that point, because intellectualization, I had an answer for each one of her intellectual realizations. Each one of her intellectual statements, her factual statements, I said, I accept that, and there's also this fact that's going on too. And then when she started crying, I just sat and made sure that my face was lower than her face, and just looked into her eyes and tried to listen to everything she had to say without any interruption. And then she moved to rage, wanting to throw things and, end our relationship forever. And it came to me that those three phases are very, very important for a female to experience. And perhaps for all humans, all human beings, it's a process like that. But the final step needed to be a coming together, and that was not had. There were ultimatums made. And I recognized myself at that age having a difficult time to integrate the pain and the tragedy of life and self-awareness. So I can understand, I can understand and empathize with what she's going through. However, my stance and posture is not one where I end it, but rather surrender to accepting it and move on happily, because some things I can't do anything about. And I've understood this in my love relationships that, there are just some things that only love can resolve. Not reason can guide us, as I've been reading in Dante. Reason can guide us, but cannot have that ultimate divine love. The divine love is irrational and illogical. It's forgiving, merciful, and full of grace. And I think we just have to come to terms with that, and ladies come to terms with it the way they come to terms with it. I think men come to terms with it in their own way, if they even come to terms. But in terming it, in characterizing it, there could be a loss of that magic. Some things need to remain a mystery. That's why I like the idea that at the metaphysical root of our being is a mystery, as Joseph Campbell said. Because if we can develop our consciousness to the point of accepting the mystery, then we can have that release and that liberation. Have a good day.